How was the holiday?
Oh.
Well, the holiday was good, except for the fact that I got sick and lost my wallet. But other than that, it was fucking peachy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, like the joys of okay, I need a new driver's license. Well, to get a new driver's license, I got to bring a primary piece of ID and a secondary piece. Well, a secondary piece of ID would be a credit card with my name on it or a debit card with my name on it, which also was in the wallet that got lost. Oh, but you can bring your birth certificate and your passport, but your passport can't be expired. Oh, guess what? My passport is expired.
perfect.
Go to the bank, need a new card. Okay, I need a piece of ID. Well, I don't have an ID because I need a card to like I need ID for ID for ID for ID.
So how to get
So I'm
off
in
the
this.
grid?
So I'm in the circle jerk of trying to, and then I just locked my cards because I can lock my cards from my bank app. And actually, I was keeping an eye on them when I first lost them because I was like, is it lost? Is it stolen? And like no charges were appearing. So I just kept them unlocked because I wanted to see like, does somebody have it or is it in the hotel somewhere? Did I, put it in the empty towel bin when we left the pool on accident with like a wrapped up towel? And so there's no charges. So finally I was home and I was like, okay, I don't want to just cancel because everything is subscription nowadays. So I have all these different subs coming out on my card. So I'm figuring out all the subscriptions, switching them to Kate's card. Then I was like, okay, I'm gonna lock my cards, or sorry, I'm gonna go online and look at canceling them, and then I see you can just lock them. So it's like, oh yeah, you can lock them so they can't be used at ATMs or tellers or anything like that, but it still allows subscriptions to come out if you've already set them up. And I was like, oh, so I didn't have to do all that. But whatever. So but it was good. We had decent weather for most of the time. The pool was great. The water slide was fun. Kids had a blast. It was good.
It's
Good.
good. Better
Good.
weather than we had here.
Yeah, that's what I heard when I got back. My neighbor said it was like piss and rain the whole time and really windy.
Yeah. I feel like of course, both losing either wallet or phone is a fucking hassle, but losing a phone is pretty intense too. I mean,
I'd
now that,
rather lose
yeah,
my wallet than my phone because I'm not even going to carry my wallet on me anymore because I lost it in February as well when I was on the Nanaimo trip. But I ended up getting it back.
excellent.
But now it's like I don't need anything. Like I don't get ID'd. I don't really need my ID on me. And I just set up my cards on my wallet on my phone. So when I need to pay for something, I can just tap it with my phone. So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what
yeah.
do I need a wallet for?
Right.
Hayden.
To make sure that your center of gravity is offset.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Because it's got so many receipts in it.
Hayden's got a book in his
Fucking
back
yeah.
pocket.
That's fucking yeah. Holy
No,
shit.
I can't fit the Kindle in this. It's got to have something paper to read.
That's right. That's right.
Is it still? Has it gotten worse? Because we did like a few months ago. We back in Studs, we kind of tried to get you to lighten the load a little bit by 40% or so. Um, how's it now? Do you have it on you? Do you have it nearby?
No, it's out of my little
Tent?
locked in
It's-
room.
Yes, your tent.
My tent. My closet space. It hasn't gotten any bigger, but it hasn't gotten any smaller. So
That's what she said. Welcome everybody to another episode of Chummy Thumbs. I am Justin, as always, with Shao and Hayden, and we have
What
a
up?
juicy episode for you this week. But before we get to that, if you listened last week, you've been following along, you would have known we discussed at length canceling plans. And there was one person on the show who said, oh, I don't cancel plans. I don't cancel plans. Well, guess what? We're recording this episode 2 days late because somebody canceled their plans with us because they had to go to the goddamn rodeo. And
drive. I didn't
damn it,
cancel.
Hayden.
I didn't cancel. I rescheduled.
Okay. Oh,
Oh, rain check. Okay.
semantics. How was the rodeo?
Oh, it's freaking awesome! Like, I enjoy going to it every year, but this year was the first time where it was like, it's not stinking hot. So I was like, oh, is it gonna be pissing with rain or is it gonna suck? And the weather held out, so it was good. And the people showed up. I was like, oh shit, there's gonna be no one there, but it was the finals of the rodeo, so everybody was there because it's a big deal. It's like it's an actual stop on their circuit to like until they get to like the Stampede, the Calgary Stampede, like so you get all the top riders. It's
Nice.
good time.
Have you ever been to a rodeo?
No, I have not. I've never been to the Stampede. Closest thing I've been was I guess the Roxy. Does that count?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
that's the
last 8
same
seconds?
patrons there.
Did you last 8 seconds? And I'm not talking about the girl you went home with. Or boy,
Oh.
but I don't know. You know.
No, I've never been on one of those the mechanical bulls. But
They have it. Oh
I've
no,
always-
that's not the Roxy, is it? The
no,
Bourbon?
there's another one. There's another one. What's it called?
I think it's called the Bourbon.
Or
It's
the
down in
Bourbon?
It
Gastown,
doesn't
yeah.
exist anymore.
It doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, that's the one though. That's the one that had
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I rode that
And-
one.
You did?
Nice.
I did back in film school days.
Hell yeah.
I've
Probably
always
find a
wanted to
picture for the
try,
socials.
but I've always got too self-conscious. Because
Have
I
you
don't
ever
want to
been
be the guy who just jumps on and gets tossed within 2 seconds, that kind of thing. It's so humiliating.
They warm you into it.
And then if you like last a long time, then people will think you're gay. So it's just like
It's lose.
it's
He's,
lose.
he's got
lose.
them strong
Yeah.
thigh grip.
Yeah, I
Counting in
think-
your head. Yeah.
I think I would
Hey,
try to last
whoa.
15 seconds and just like step off.
Yeah.
Like,
And then try and
I've had it up. I've had it
try
up.
and stand on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
Some
ever
of-
ridden a horse?
I
Like in real
have.
life? I was gonna say,
Yeah, but just on a trail though. But it's not like anything crazy. Just like a little horseback ride. you know?
I've never
Yeah.
ridden a horse.
no.
I've ridden a camel, but not
really?
a horse. Yeah, I've ridden on a
see.
camel, but not a horse.
Nice.
Hmm.
Where
Well-
did you ride a camel?
I think it was at the Royal Easter Show back in Australia. It was just like one of those inner circle things, not like out in the desert where you can go on a safari on them.
Crazy.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go on those camel safaris.
Yeah, a camel safari. Sign me up. All right, let's
So
get
much
to it,
excitement. I'm gonna
So
make a
much excitement.
documentary so that we can all go on it, and I'll film.
Could we
all of
do
us.
if we all three went riding on a 2-hump camel? Could we each take a hump and then like somebody goes in the middle of the humps
Quite possibly.
and like raw
Well,
dog
I think well, just given the weight, I don't know how much weight. I don't think they can support 3 adult men. A camel.
What? Then what are they good for? I thought that's what they did is hauled shit around.
Yeah, but I'm not
but
sure.
3 of us and all of our shit is a lot of weight.
Oh, you don't need all our shit. I just mean the 3 of us. We'll play chicken on a camel. Like whoever stays on the camel longest wins, and then the other 2 have to walk, and the other person actually gets to ride the camel for the safari.
Now the hard part is deciding who. I think there's definitely advantages of being in the middle, in between the 2 humps,
Yeah.
right?
Except your
Oh,
eye
dude.
height is at
Sorry. I got
ass height,
sidetracked when you talked about being in the middle of 2 humps. My brain went away from the camel and just completely somewhere else.
But you know what I mean? But it's tricky because if you're in the middle, do I want to face, depending who it is, do I want to face front or back? If it's hidden in the back, you know what I mean? There's so many of these little things that
yeah.
can make it very lopsided, if you will.
Yeah, you don't want Hayden behind you. He's big and strong, so you kind of want to try and face him. Like I'm kind of just like a wiry, squirrely little thing. So I just like
Yeah.
like I'm not threatening, is what I'm getting at. So
Mm.
I don't
I
think
think
I'd
the
be in the
back-
middle for chicken because you guys would just Superman toss me, and then it would be a duel.
Well, there's only one way to find out. We're gonna have to rent a camel somewhere.
Yeah, if anybody's listening, can you email us chummythumbs@gmail.com and let us know where we could rent a camel if you happen to know. And if you
Or-
do happen to know, also why?
If there are any Saudi princes that are listening who wants to donate some of their camels or money, we'll
Yeah,
gladly.
I'll
Says-
fly
pay
us
it.
out to your palaces so that we can have a holiday trip in it too.
We just need to send them $5,000 first, and then they can do it. The old
Yeah.
the old
In
Prince
Bitcoin.
email scam.
That's right.
Okay, well, that's enough camel talk. Let's move on because there's something that I wanted to talk about today because Kate and we watch a lot of shows together, a lot of movies together, obviously. And sometimes, like, I'll be really into a show and she will be like, no, I'm done. I can't do it. And we have to stop. And what's really frustrating about it for me, and this is why I mentioned it to you guys and why I wanted to talk about it on the show. And the question I said is at what point do you stop watching a show or a movie? At what point do you lose interest? You become uninvested, whatever it is. But the reason why I wanted to is because, or ask you this, is because, and I'll just bring up this one because it was what we were, the latest example of it. We were watching this show called Who is Aaron Carter? And it's kind of this fun, it's this spy show. And it's about this mom and she's with her daughter and she's fled something. I can't give too much detail because we didn't really get that far into it before she goes, no, I'm done. I can't watch it anymore. And I was like, why? What are you talking about? It's a good show. Well, I can't stand how she treats her daughter. And this isn't the first show this has happened to. Kate will not accept if a parent is not treating their child good, and especially if they're being neglectful. And I'm like, but that's part of the show. Like it's not real life. They're just building up the drama and the tension. She's like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Right.
Meanwhile, we go sit there and we watch Mobland, where people are literally chained to a chair alive, being hacked up with chainsaws, and she's like, when is the next episode coming out? What do you mean the next episode's not coming out yet? Like, we got to wait another week? So I'm like, what? How can you sit here? And we just watched this movie Havoc with Tom Hardy because she loves Tom Hardy. Who doesn't?
Oh,
saved my life again, Shao. Thank you very much. And and it's just like horrifically violent, and I'm like, gore and bullet holes in people's faces, and she'll sit there and is like enthralled and can't get enough. And I was like, but you can't watch somebody who is a little bit neglectful of their child. Like, I don't get it.
There's a line.
So it just like it. I didn't understand that, but I get that everybody has their thing when they're watching something that makes them go no more. So that's why I wanted to bring that topic to you guys, to the listeners. So let's throw it to you, Shao, first. What is it? What is it in a show or a movie that you're just like, nah, I'm done?
When you brought this topic up, it's interesting because there is a show right now that I started and didn't finish, and it's such an interesting thing because so the show is 4 seasons, starring Steve Carell, Tina Fey, and obviously I love them both. And when I didn't know what I was really getting into, I'm starting to watch trailers less and less, just because I kind of want the surprise of whatever I don't want to be swayed by the trailers, I guess, in any way. So I watched it, and it's a light comedy, very real in terms of I don't know if you guys know what it is, but it's just about three adult couples who are very close, but the dynamics of each couple gets changed throughout the 4 seasons. So there's 8 episodes total, 2 episodes of spring, 2 episodes of summer, and then 2 of autumn and 2 of winter, something like that. But I watched 6, and then I thought to myself, I don't need to finish this. So to answer your question, I thought about it, and I was thinking, why? Why would I stop here? Because I'm more than halfway done. Each episode's only 20 something minutes long. So why? Yeah, it's like I said, it's not my kind of show, but it's not bad. So why is it that I decided to stop this time? And I guess ultimately, I guess just for this one, it's just I don't care for it. There's sometimes where there are shows like Breaking Bad that would have a hiatus in mid season, or maybe in between seasons there are breaks, whether it be from COVID or whether it be writer strikes or whatever. And sometimes the break in between, even if it's a really good show, if the break is a year or two, I might lose a little bit of interest, or I might think, I've invested so much time, and then I kind of forgot what it's kind of like Severance. Although I did finish Severance. Severance, I think, had a few years break, and then I thought to myself, I don't want to get back into it because I forgot everything, and so I have to invest that time to recap or rewatch, and then I just kind of put it on the shelf for a little bit. So that's kind of my way around this I guess topic is just it really does depend, and it's frustrating because I can't really pinpoint an answer as to why I don't want to finish 4 seasons rather than it's kind of boring. That's
See,
it.
the story, obviously the story doesn't grab you. You're not invested in the characters or what happens to them.
Maybe I was just a little bit let down about because with Tina Fey and Steve Carell, I thought, oh, comic geniuses, it's gonna be fucking funny. I don't think I really laughed at all during the. It's not meant to be a like har sort of laugh out loud comedy, but just lighthearted. So I guess it was just didn't live up to my expectations. So I was like, nah.
Yeah. What about you, Hayden? Is there anything, a show in particular you can remember where you stopped watching it because of, the story? Maybe they jumped the shark, it got old, it wasn't funny, it was too violent, they were mean to their kids, not mean enough to their kids.
Yes.
What makes you turn away from a show or a film?
Too much equality? What is it?
Yeah, he
Not
hates
enough
that.
equality.
Hates.
Not enough representation. Not enough Australian characters.
Thank God.
So, funnily enough, it'll be a show that you talk about a lot that you loved. That I didn't
Careful
finish.
now. Careful. Fucking careful, bro.
They're nice. They're
You're
nice.
gonna make.
Why?
You
You
wanna
asked me
angry
a
Justin
question.
this early?
Yeah, let's do it. It was Ozark. I lost interest in Ozark after season 2, I think. Maybe you got through summer 3. It just, to me, it got too visually dark. Like the cinematography got dark and just stayed there. And I'm like, why? It doesn't need to be this dark. And it just became too, like, everyone just kept getting killed. There was too much violence. And I'm like, I'm not intrigued as to where it's going. I wanted to, like, it started off so good how he was dealing with the drug cartels and whatnot, and then I was like, this is very interesting, and then I just was like, I've kind of lost interest. It stalled too long. I don't think it needed a 3 to 4. I think it could have wrapped it up, but obviously I didn't see it through. It's probably a great finish to it, but it's the same with like Game of Thrones. I got through the first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones, and then I was like, I'm not at all motivated to keep watching it. And I love high fantasy stuff, and I just was like, meh, next.
Well, when you mentioned Game of Thrones, that's one as for me as well. That's a big one. Game of Thrones, Dexter, I didn't actually finish all the way through. There's a lot of shows that have such a great build up and great story and great everything, and then I don't know what it is, whether it be they didn't expect that kind of.
The writers didn't know they were going to get that far. Like, oh shit,
Yeah, maybe,
yeah,
maybe, yeah. So maybe they kind of wrote themselves in a hole a little bit. I don't know. Maybe didn't have the perfect, way of writing themselves out. But Game of Thrones is one of them. I actually went to the last season. I watched 1 or 2 episodes, and I was like, come on, like, because there's so much build up to Game of Thrones, and then it just sort of went down for me. And you hear about all the budget that they had per episode, and then when they came up with that, I was like, ugh. And then I lost interest, and then I started seeing some of the clips on Instagram about how it ended, and I'm like, okay, I don't really need to see the rest, and I wasn't upset about it. But Dexter, have you both of you guys watched Dexter? I know Justin has.
I watched Dexter.
Yeah.
For me, I watched it all. Yeah, it didn't end well. I didn't
Right.
I think it was the final season, maybe the final 2, but I finished it because, man, the John Lithgow season,
Ooh.
like a lot of the shows I watch, there's certain seasons where I'm like, wow, this may be the best season of television I've ever watched. And it's because of certain things that happen. In the John Lithgow season, I want to say it was season 3 of Dexter, it was so good. I freaking loved it.
Yeah.
But another show that I really liked, or I was really into, I should say. I wouldn't say I was really liked it. It wasn't like, oh my God, you got to see the show, but I did like the show. And that was Sons of Anarchy. But that is one that I stopped because it jumped the shark for me. I was like, it got, and that's where I lose interest. It's like, okay, wrap it up. Like we know, I feel like a series should be, unless it's like a procedural or something where they just go on and on and on and on. Sure, then that's what you're expecting. But I find the best shows are five seasons long.
Right.
Once you start getting over that, it's like, hey, we still have success, so let's stretch it out. But I don't understand that. I mean, I get it from a business point, but also like you just piss people off sometimes because it's like you've invested so much time, like you say, Shao, you invested all this time. I want you to wrap it up in a nice tight little package and fucking give it to me. And then I'm happy to see a good show conclude. I really am. I don't need like I like sometimes it's better to be left like, oh man, like that was, did you see the final season of that? Like, holy shit, that was so good. Oh, I wish they were doing one more season. I wish they were doing one, like leave your audience like that, not like, oh, okay, well, they're gonna do one more season of this show, I guess, or two more seasons. Like Sons of Anarchy, that's how it was for me. And I just texted my buddy, or because he kept with it, and it was one of the shows we used to watch and then talk about together, right? So it was fun. And then I stopped, and he's like trying to get me into it. I was like, look, man, just when Jax kills Gemma, video record it and send it to me, because you know what's gonna happen. Like, anyways, it's so for me, that's one of my main things.
Yeah.
So for me, like when shows jump the shark and they just don't wrap it up in time and they're trying to stretch the story out, that drives me crazy. But honestly, my biggest pet peeve, and I want to say in a movie or show, and I don't even want to say, I mean, I do lose interest, but I don't even really get started. And that is when, and here's an example. There was a show that came out and it was on Genghis Khan. And I think it was on Netflix or something like that. I forget what it's called.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
And it's like, it's the show that takes place in that time.
Oh, is it Marco Polo?
Maybe it was Marco Polo, but I think there was another one.
Because Genghis Khan is part of that storyline.
Yeah, but anyway, so it's either that one or there was another one. But it was like, it was all in fucking English. And I'm like, there is no way they would be speaking English. And that pulls me out of it. I would rather watch, and that's what I love about like shows like Narcos or Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I didn't even watch the American ones. It's like, I have no problem if there is a story that takes place in a country or a region in a certain era, even this era. I want them to speak their native language, and I have no problem reading the subtitles. But when it's the Mongols conquering their empire and they're all fucking speaking English, it pulls me out of it, man. Like I can't do it. I think I watched maybe 5 minutes. My dad recommended it, and I was like, not for me. And like I have friends that they'll watch the like films that are actually in their native language, but with the English dub, and that I can't do either.
No.
If the dubbing is off, nah, man, I am like, forget about it.
Yeah, Squid Games in English is just actually it's unbearable. I
Yeah,
don't know if any of you guys tried that. It sounds so bad.
Yeah, it's not right, man. It shouldn't be that way, and that's just for me, anyways. And that really pulls me out of shows.
Yeah, I mean, I have a huge. Oh, before I do want to. It's still in my mind when you said Ozark, Hayden. The first thing I think of is the darkness and the blue. Like it's almost like a blue filter. It kind of looks like
greeny.
Yeah. It's like a lemony snicket sort of like dark.
It was really high
vibe,
saturation.
And that's all I can picture it.
Very high saturation. They kind of, they amped up the blues and greens and crushed the black, so it was very contrasty. And I'm like,
yeah. I mean, check this out. I have a huge collection of shows that I started and didn't finish. And and speaking of collections,
nice segue.
No, so I
dare you. I had one more question for you boys.
sip that tea.
What is it? Sneak it in.
No, I was just gonna ask if you guys remember the last movie that you guys actually walked out of in a theater.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, really? Hey, how far did you get?
I don't remember. Well,
Until
it's
they
funny.
saw it revealed Jared Leto.
Yeah.
No, can't do it.
I don't remember because it wasn't I paid for it in theaters and then I was just so disappointed and so I was so hyped for it because of the trailers and then I went with my friends and then I told my friend I can't stand this. There've been a couple that I walked out of Suicide Squad and there's something like Maze Runner or Maze something.
Oh yeah,
There's
Maze
one of
Runner.
them that I didn't like that. And then there's one uh, is it Angels and Demons, I think, or Inferno or something with Tom Hanks and the
One of the
Dan
Dan Brown
Brown.
ones.
Yeah, yeah. I walked out of those three.
What about you, Hayden? Can you remember?
I've never walked out of a movie.
Have you ever thought about it? Have you ever
Have you
been
ever
like,
wanted to?
I paid $20 for this, so I'll stay, but I really don't want to.
I don't know. Funnily enough, well, oh, that's a tough one. Scary Movie 3 didn't really do it for me.
How dare you?
In like the very,
dare you.
very first scene, it kind of went too long with the piss gag, and I was like, yeah, this is like, what am I watching here? And I'm there with all my buddies from high school, so I was like, well, we're going out after this, so I can't just like leave. So I just sat
I
through
can't
it.
remember if the third one was the one where they didn't use the Wayans brothers as writers or creators or something like that. They did 1 and 2, and then maybe 3 is when they got screwed out of their deal, and then something happened. But I think that's when it started to decline. But so
But other than that, I mean, I haven't
number
been in
2
the movie.
is the best.
Yeah,
Anyways.
I haven't seen that. See, that's the only one that I'd seen.
What? You did the first one?
I haven't watched the first one or the second one. I haven't seen any of the Scream films. So like these spoof movies, I was like, no, I haven't seen any of them. But
Yeah.
like Suicide Squad, I saw on a plane, so I couldn't walk out on it.
Yeah, you just
Change the
where's
screen.
the parachutes?
Open the hatch.
Yeah, I think I heard about you on the news. The crazy Australian trying to open the emergency
Get
exit.
arrested on landing. But
Yeah.
see, I like to not force myself through bad movies, but it's kind of like what they're like when you're writing scripts or when you're writing books or whatever. It's like you can't just watch good movies. You have to watch the bad. Like Alex has got a fun story where she was going through Netflix and watching every bad movie that was like below 6% or something on the ratings before they switched it to the thumbs up, thumbs down thing, just so she could see what kind of terribleness was out there in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the Snow White over the weekend just to see how bad
Oh.
it was, and it was bad. And
It was bad?
It was bad. There's a new movie with The Weeknd, I think. The Weeknd and Jenna Ortega and oh shoot, I don't remember his name. The guy who's in Saltburn and he's playing one of the Beatles, Barry something. I can't remember. Anyways, I want to watch that too because that has like right now like 13% on Rotten Tomatoes and it's worth it. Check it out.
Alex just
You know what I
texted
watched?
me because she heard
Yeah.
me. 1-star horror movies. That's what she was watching. She was just going through all of the
One-star
like,
horror movie.
Oh, we have a
One-star
live
horror
listener.
movie.
I like it.
Yeah.
Love it.
This
I hate it.
clearly doesn't soundproof at all.
So, before I mentioned, I had a collection of shows to watch, but in terms of physical collections, I've been always very curious as to what people like to collect because when I was a kid, I loved collecting things. I think I got it mostly from my older brother or my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law collects like models and figures and stuff like that, and so kind of got me into because he's the type that has all these limited edition unopened Spawn action figures and stuff like that. They're really nice detail and all that stuff, and so it got me into it. And so sometimes even as a kid I would save up money and I would buy a set of Ninja Turtle figures, but 2 sets, one to open and display and one to keep in the basement because I think for some reason one day it's going to be worth a lot. And so in my basement there's quite a collection of figures that I haven't really checked out in a while. So let me start from the beginning. When you guys were young, what did you guys collect? Justin? If anything.
Man, I know. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a big collector. I did hockey cards and baseball cards. Kind of stopped with baseball cards. I did hockey cards, that whole thing. Pogs, man. Like I was
Oh,
big into Pogs when it came out. Like
did
fuck,
anyone
Pog me
have
up.
the Simpsons set?
I didn't have Simpsons. Funny enough, I wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons growing up because my
Mm.
mom didn't like the way that they treated the mother.
The mother?
Yeah,
They
they
didn't
didn't
like how
like
they.
how they treated Marge, so she didn't let me watch The Simpsons.
Oh,
So do you think Kate would enjoy The Simpsons, or do you think that they treat the kids badly so she wouldn't like it?
because of the strangling.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I don't, you know what? It's funny because Simpsons has become such a huge show in pop culture, and I know so much Simpsons references just from hearing other people use them. I tried. I was like, okay, like this was a huge show. So many people use Simpson references. I'm gonna try and watch some Simpsons, and I don't know if it's just because I got into it like later in life. I was like, I, meh. Like I love Family Guy. I love South Park. Like I love those ones, but
Hmm.
I never watched Simpsons when I was young. So maybe that's why when I was older and I tried watching it, I just I didn't see the big appeal to it.
Right. I mean, that can be a whole other
Oh yeah, that could be a whole
That
other
is
thing.
a whole other thing.
But back to your topic, yeah, no. So I'd say that's like when I was younger. Like it's different now that I'm older, but younger, it was hockey cards and Pogs.
Do you still have the hockey cards? Like, do you think they're
No, so
worth
funny
anything?
enough, when we like I had them for so long and then I think I just donated them all. I didn't do the like keep them in packages and stuff. Like I know people who like keep them and keep them mint and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this card's worth like fucking $10,000." It's like, yeah, it's worth $10,000 if somebody's going to pay you $10,000 for it. But so I never kept them pristine. It was more just I thought it was cool. Like they were hockey players and the hockey players I liked, and I got to see new hockey players and read the little stats on the back and the little write ups and stuff. But I do know somebody who actually, I think, what did they just buy? They just was it like an electric vehicle? And he's like, oh yeah, I had to sell a couple cards for it. I was like, what? And he's like this big time collector, and he's got
Mm.
like a shit ton of stuff. And so when they need a little bit of money here and there, that he'll just go to his collection and post it. He's like, I didn't get too much for it for this one. I was like, oh yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, no, I sold it to some guy in Toronto for like 5 grand. I was like, you fucking 5 grand, like for a card, like that's not a little amount. Like that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's intense.
but no, I never collected for, and I know, like you said, Shao, people who would buy the two, but I was
Yeah.
never like that. I never bought it, and especially when I'm younger, I'm not thinking about resale value of these things. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah. For me, when I
easy.
got, for example, when I said I have huge affection for Ninja Turtles, they come in, there's four. So I can't just get one. I can't get like a one Raphael. I have to get all of a set of them, and then I get two set, like
Oh God.
a whole set. And so there's actually one thing that I still, they came up with the original stone cast statues of all four of them you can collect, and the on the ground they're stepping on brick platforms, and the brick you can kind of, if you get all four of them, it kind of like a jigsaw puzzle fits together to make one big thing, and I only have two. So that's, hopefully one day I can finish that collection. Hayden,
How much would you pay to
okay,
finish
so
that
when I got it,
collection?
so when I got it, each one was like $200. This was a long, like, I feel like it was close to 20 years ago, 15 years ago, and
Would
I
you
haven't
pay
checked it now.
would you pay $200 now for it to finish the collection?
I would.
What
I
about
think it's worth more though, because the other two that I don't have, I have Leonardo, I have Michelangelo. I don't have my favorite Raphael or
yeah, you need
Donatello.
Raph.
I need Raph in there.
So what would your limit be, would you say,
Oh,
to finish this
well, right now
collection?
with my financial status, for for
Take
two of them,
yeah,
I would probably go up to seven
per or total
total,
for both.
total, something like that. I could
And
be
then
fine with.
what does that get you? You put it on a shelf? I
It's a
just
Um,
just curious.
satisfaction.
that is no, that's a good question because I don't even have anywhere to put it.
Under my
So
bed.
I think it's just like a satisfaction thing just to
museum.
know that yeah, yeah. Hayden, do you have anything that you grew up collecting, or is there anything that you have right now. That's, I mean, you obviously have a crap load of graphic T-shirts. But I was going to ask if any of them are worth anything, and clearly probably no. But
he had all the collections under his bed. Remember, his mom would find them.
That's right. That's right.
They came in all sorts of different shapes and sizes and textures and
a lot of different knobs, settings. Yeah. So besides that, what did you collect as a child?
Oh, you know me and my binders. I've got lots of stuff in binders.
Did they fit in binders?
They fit in binders?
Oh, okay. Oh, no.
We must be talking about different things. No, okay, so the first things I remember collecting were NBA cards, but I wasn't too big on that. And like NFL. So American sports in Australia in the early 90s was like huge. So, you know, like the starter jacket and the hat, and you get the cards and all of that. And Pogs. Got lots of Pogs. And we used to have, you could get a pack of chips for like $1, and it would have like Looney Tunes ones in it. So I've got all of these like Looney Tunes Pogs, or, you know, the different, there's always the original and then there's all the copies. So I got all of those and have binders of all of those. And then when Pokemon cards came out, I've got a shit ton of Series 1 Pokemon cards, which I got the official like Pokedex binder, and they're all in the little sleeves, and I think my brother has it. I asked him about it. He said it's in storage somewhere. So I was like, there's got to be something in that binder that's worth something.
Well, next time you see him, he's going to be moved into a mansion. It's like, oh, I don't know where they went.
All your cards are gone. But I remember when I was doing that, I was buying all of the like starter boxes, like the proper boxes to get the cards and whatnot. And my buddies at the same time were buying just the booster packs, just the little ones. And they got all the same cards from buying the booster packs. I was like, fuck, I feel like I wasted a little bit of money, because you're paying more to get like all of the parts of the game as well as the cards.
Right.
But I did that. And then when I traveled to the US for the first time, they had Dragon Ball Z cards at, it wasn't the Disney store, but it was some other store like the Disney store. So I had to like get every single Dragon Ball Z card while I was on this trip. And I think I did. So even though my parents were like, no, you can't keep spending your money. I'm like, it's my money. It's my vacation money. I will spend it on Dragon Ball Z cards. So
did it get to a point for you where you told yourself, okay, I have to stop because I'm spending so much money? Or did it just gradually phase out of you phased out of collecting?
That was with
comic
comic
books. You had to
books.
start doing shady stuff to get more money.
Yeah, go to the nearest under the bridge somewhere and
SMD.
That's why my knees are so bad right now. No.
Oh.
Corona, comic books were the thing that I was like, I have to stop, because there was a point where you couldn't just get like Batman 500 to Batman 510 was the story arc. You had to go Batman, you had to go Superman, Batman, you had to go to freaking Nightwing, you got to go to like all of the different books to follow one storyline.
Okay, I got a question about that, because I was never a graphic novel, I believe is what they're called, Hayden, but that's okay. I was never really a big graphic novel. Oh, those are comics? He's waving his finger at me.
No. I would debate you on the differences of that, but anyway, continue.
Okay, yeah. I was just doing that because my buddy said that when I made a comment about nerd comics once. He's like, they're graphic novels. So I was like, okay, whatever, man.
They're not toys, they're action figures.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm gonna have a girlfriend one day, I swear. So I always, how do you, like, when you're following along in that series, say, how do you know that you gotta get like not just Batman 501 and then Batman 502? How do you know you gotta go to Superman this or Nightwing that? Does it say at the end of the comic like
usually,
what is the next one in the series?
Yeah, it'll usually have like some little like writer's blurb will be like, follow along in, Justice League 607 sort of as the next part of the story. So you're like, fuck, I'm not going to go get that one.
Gotcha.
Because I would always like, if you, there's always like little asterisks if a character mentions something and you're like, what the hell are they talking about? There's usually an asterisk in there and then you read what it means. It's like, oh, this was referenced in this storyline in this book. So you can, it's a neat way sometimes to kind of discover more information about a world, but at the same time, it's very annoying if you want to buy every single one of those. I got like Marvel Unlimited on my phone because they have all of the books digitized now, and it's so much easier to be like, oh, I can just go into the digital library and find that book and then continue. I don't have to search it and buy it. But there was a time, where my brother and I were like, the stacks were getting so big, and we're like, we can't afford this. We got to stop. Like, we got enough. Like, because my brother was an artist, so he would read them obviously, but he would study them as drawing tools, So he's like, I got enough material here. I don't need to keep going. Like,
Do you think you have any in your collection that's worth a lot?
Probably. I also have a bunch here. Like, a couple of times there's been auctions where they have comic book memorabilia stuff. So I'm like, oh, I like research beforehand. Like, I got this big Superman statue that
I remember.
had no need for it because I have nowhere to put it, so I sold it on. But I picked up picked up some comics, and some of them are already pre-graded and like sealed, so you know what the worthness of it. The value of it is.
Sure.
Yeah, worthness. Yeah,
The
let's go with that.
worthness,
Yeah,
not
let's
the
roll with
worthlessness. The worthness of it.
Yeah. Justin, is there something that if you had not only the money but the space that you would want to start collecting?
Oh, okay. So it's quite funny because when you mentioned that this was something that you wanted to talk about, I was thinking like, there's nothing really I collect now. I'm not really a collector. I'm not into that shit.
Vapes.
But then I've noticed that. What'd you say?
Vapes.
Vapes.
Oh, vapes. Yeah. Those are I just get supplied with those endlessly. But so I send you pictures of, and I've shown you like
Ooh,
these
what kind of pictures?
posters of these. What I have in this little games room where I'm recording right now for James, and I found like I just keep adding to it, and I want more. And like I was saying to you, I got to move the beer fridge you gave me now because I want to put like a little shelving system in there with a cool little chair so we can get some cool like Star Wars or Marvel or anime stuff to kind of display. And I got all these LED lights, and I got the strips, and you can play music, and there's a microphone on it, and the LEDs like blink in different patterns to the beat of the music. And I'm sort of like building out this game room I always kind of wished I had growing up. So I've slowly been adding to it. So I guess in a sense that's a bit like collecting, but also, man, like I do so much gardening. I love gardening, and I'm always trying to find like little things to add to the garden outside of plants to give it appeal. And so like I wouldn't say I would do anything outside of that, but yeah, like, man, if I could just build like, especially if I had more space. My space is very limited here for this little games room that we have, but if I could had unlimited space, man, I would like building out like a fucking just bomb ass games room would be so fun with LEDs and like games room / bar. So I wish I had more space to do it because I got to be very strategic in how I do it with the limited space I have here. But I have a fairly decent sized garden, so yeah, just more adding to that. Like if I didn't, because I've spent so much in the garden case, like you spend so much time and you do so much work out in the garden and not as much inside. And I was like, yeah, I do, but it's, we enjoy our time outside, especially when the weather's nice. So I feel like it's really adding to the value out there. And so, and especially if I had unlimited funds, man, like I would completely redo how my front yard is. I'm kind of doing it like piecework style. But yeah, so for me, those are the collection stuff I'm interested in, like games room stuff, garden stuff, those types of things.
Like gnomes? Do you have any? You have gnomes, don't you?
So I have
Definitely.
one little. I
From
don't
Wallace and
actually
Gromit?
have any gnomes, but I have like a
Really?
whole bunch of these.
Wallace and Gromit.
rock iron things. I have different things. I got frogs, scorpions, ants on a Ferris wheel, ants on a teeter totter, but they're like really cool. My parents got them from Arizona, so they're rocks, and then they have like iron bars that kind of wrap around the rock. I'll send some pictures actually. Maybe I'll post them on some
Some
and
Sochis.
yeah, they're pretty cool. And so I've spread those all throughout the garden. I got a whole bunch of solar lights and like outdoor Christmas lights. And then I have JD, my Themakin head. So did I tell you about my Themakin head?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I was like,
So
what is
okay,
that?
so
What the fuck is?
Them again.
so I'm out having some beers with a neighbor. He lives kind of down at the end of the little horseshoe where I am, and he's like, "Hey, yeah," he's like, Come in, come in, come in," and he brings me downstairs to his basement, and it's all dark, and he's just like brings me down to this basement, and he opens this bag, and he's like, "Do you want a head?" I was like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, got this bag of mannequin heads, and he's like, "Yeah, I got these ones and this one and a black one and a white one," and I was like, and then he held up this one, and I was like, "Oh my God." I said, "Can I have that one?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, it's yours." I was like, "Okay." So I took it, and I was walking back up the stairs, and his daughter was in the kitchen. She's like, "What the hell is wrong with you guys? What are you doing?" And I was like, "I don't know. Your dad showed me this bag of heads, and I feel like weirdly attracted to this head. And I don't know why, but I need to have it." And she's like, "Oh, I guess it was like a woman. It was a woman mannequin head, but she was doing hairdressing school. She gave it a guy's haircut. So it's like this weird, like guy's haircut, but on this feminine face. So I just have that in my garden. And I have it like peeking out through the bushes. And Kate hates it. And so I keep
Uh,
moving it around, and I put it in different. And actually, you want to know something? Okay, so here's a story. So the first day I got it, um, I live right at the entrance to where all our townhouses are. We're the very first unit, and there's a speed bump. When we moved in, we put a speed bump in because there's one like two places in, so people would come ripping in and then slow down at the first speed bump. So we immediately put one before our unit. Well, vehicles still come flying in sometimes. So we got this little sign. It's kind of like a slippery when wet sign, opens up, and but it says like slow children playing. So we have that set up, and a couple vehicles come in quick, and we always yell at them. We're those people. So we thought, oh, I got a great idea. So I put the head kind of outside of the like where the sign opens. So it's like the head kind of out. Didn't really slow people down. I thought, oh, that would grab their attention. So we're like, it's like I got a great idea. So we get a bike helmet and we kind of put it off just beyond the head. So it looks like this head's kind of like flopping in the middle of the street with the scooter and this helmet. This vehicle comes in. The next vehicle that comes in, man, eyes massive. His jaw's like on the floor. And we're like, and he was going so slow, and we're like laughing, and we're like, like, yeah, giving him the thumbs up. And he like shocked, 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 shocked. So like, oh, it worked. And we'd sprayed some water behind the head. So you got like the runoff of like water. Anyways, so fast forward that evening, we'd all, neighbors had all split up. I'm home. Kate comes back. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, you know what I just thought? I said, what? She's like, well, you know how that guy was reacting to that mannequin head? And I said, yeah. She's like, what if he was at the Lapu Lapu thing? Because this was like a day or 2 days after that
oh,
tragic event
oh
happened in
fuck.
Vancouver.
Oh
And I was like,
no.
oh
I didn't know
my
this was that
God.
recent.
And he looked so, what, no, dude, it was like the next day or 2 days after. And we're like, because it wasn't like a normal reaction. Like he looked so shocked. And then I was like, oh my God, because we're all like laughing and like giving him the thumbs up and stuff. And we're like, oh my God, like,
Oh no.
what if we, I
Okay,
mean,
yeah,
I don't
timing
know,
wise, yeah.
timing wise, like not good. And so, but you're not thinking about that, right? So it was kind of like one of those things. And then we're like, do we feel bad about this? It's like, well, obviously we weren't thinking about that. it's a sensitive thing because it had just happened. Anyway, so that's my, and I don't like to call it a mannequin because it's not a man, so I call it a themikin. And so that's my themikin head story.
Oh, okay, that's okay. We'll need a photo for some reference,
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
if you can,
I'll
please.
send one where it's peeking out.
Yes. Yes, Hayden, please.
I had a theory of maybe why you were so drawn to it. We all know how Justin is going to be the first one to have a AI fembot in his. He's like,
If
I
he
need a
doesn't
head.
already have one.
Yeah,
Say,
no,
yeah.
he's like, I need the perfect head for it.
Oh,
So he got the perfect head for it. So when he gets the body,
as long as it gives the perfect head, if you know what I'm saying.
no, please explain.
Did you get the snap?
I
No.
got, I,
Yeah.
I got this.
I got it.
Snap.
Oh,
I was like,
nice.
please explain. You're like,
Well, I think it sounds like Hayden is probably the biggest collector out of all three of us. So I'm gonna shoot that question to you too, Hayden. If you had financial stability, if you will, is there
exactly.
anything that would you just continue your comic book collection, or is there something else now? Whether it be because obviously everyone knows Pokemon cards in the last I don't know how many years made a huge boom because people like Logan Paul were buying all these not one of ones, sorry, just all these. I can't remember what the system of rating is when you send it in with the case, or they send you back for the case, and there's a number on top, like
Yeah.
whatever. Um, they're worth so much, tens of thousands or even more. So, is there anything that you would want to collect? Well, maybe that's more financial reasons to collect that kind of stuff. But is there something that you know?
Yes, as kind of like how Justin, he's building what he wants as an adult, right? So now being an adult, my not tastes have changed, but I would love to rebuild that. And I've talked to you about this before, Shao,
I
about
wasn't
doing.
listening, but go ahead.
I wrote this to you before, not today.
I deleted it right away.
Action figure photography.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I would love to like build out my action figures. One, because the design technology is so much better now than it was back when we were kids, that they actually look how the film or TV show or whatever. So you're like, it actually looks like it doesn't just look like some blob in the same, clothes.
Yeah.
But I would love to build out that. Like Star Wars does a really good Black series of action figures. But I'd also like your Ninja Turtles one. I would love to get some of the more like expensive limited edition like statue ones of my favorite comic heroes or movie heroes and stuff, or villains. Some of the villain ones are pretty damn cool. And you mentioned your buddy has like Spawn figurines and stuff, so like Todd McFarlane's statue work is like top notch.
Oh,
So
yeah,
some of his creations. I would
Because
love that.
the statue that it was my brother-in-law. He has there's a really nice Spawn one where he, I think he's kind of sitting on a giant stone cross. He's kind of thinking, but Spawn with that giant ass cape, the detail of that cape flowing, and he has chains like real dangly chains. Like the textures of everything is so beautiful that looking at that and hearing his excitement of talking about it and teaching me about. I didn't know too much about Spawn. I watched the movie as a kid, but I didn't know what the fuck really was about. But when he told me, it kind of lit a spark in me with collecting figures, and I didn't know how. I guess I just didn't know how much it can mean and how much it can look so beautiful. Because as you said, as the kids we were growing up, the Ninja Turtles ones, it didn't look like the cartoon. It didn't look like the movie Ninja Turtles. It was just, the original. I think it was Playmate Ninja Turtles that had the white eyes, and then the weapons look kind of shitty or whatever. But yeah. So one of the biggest regrets I have is when I went to Japan, because Japan's really big into all the small detail work and models and figures and stuff like that. There was a figure or a statue of Venom fighting Carnage, and it was really nice, and it was on sale. and it was within my budget, and I was thinking, oh, I don't have space for this. It's okay. And that's one of my biggest regrets of not getting that Venom, because he is my favorite villain, anti-hero, one of my favorite Marvel.
Symbiote.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that would be like the main thing that I would do. And maybe I would love to dig deeper into the cinephile side of myself. So get some collection of movies that are either out of print or hard to find, or even just like the best versions of them, you know, classics that are redone, like the upscaling on the Blu-rays that the Criterion Collection does, and, you know, make them look new again. I would love to be able to have a library of that stuff. A visual library.
Well, do you collect books? I know you.
I sort of. I read somewhere.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. That to classify it as a library, you have to have only 1,000 books.
And you need to have one of those ladders that roll.
I would love to have that. Yeah. To have a bookshelf and then just whoosh, there's the one I want. There'd be nothing in between, but I would just like slide from one to the next.
2 books just on opposite ends. Of the...
I got the next one in the series.
You only get the A and then the Z or Z at the so you can slide in between.
What about you, Shao? Do you have anything that you would collect nowadays? If
the only thing I can think of is I really do enjoy building Lego.
Ooh,
and
yes.
That. A lot of my friends in Hong Kong love Lego. Lego is a huge thing there. Like, you know, all over the world it is, but I think it's bigger over there for some people. But there's just no space to display it.
Big builds.
Yeah.
So I do miss building Lego. I don't even know how big the biggest build I've ever done is. It's not that big. I helped my friend build the Walt Disney Castle. That's kind of big, but it's nowhere near the Death Star one.
No, the Millennium Falcon.
Sorry.
Yeah, I want to do that one so bad. My buddy got it. It's like 10,000 pieces or some shit.
It's crazy expensive too.
Yeah, it's so expensive. It's so big.
Yeah. They just did a Rivendell one, like a Lord of the Rings one, that I was like, ooh, that looks.
Yeah, they just released a couple Zelda ones, but they aren't big though. They're just like smaller sets.
Awesome. Well, I think that this is a good place maybe to wrap it up. If you all don't have anything else you want to discuss, I know. Listen, people, listen, Linda, listen. I know.
Linda,
I told you last week. I said
Hello?
I was gonna do a topic on procrastination, and I put it off to this week, and I really was gonna do it. I swear, but with that whole TV show thing and Kate not wanting to watch it, it really got
the camel topic.
Yeah, and the camel talk and collections. We're gonna discuss it next week. I promise. I know you're all waiting for that one. It's a juicy topic, but you're just gonna have to wait until next week. So come back next week. We'll get into that and some other things. If you're liking the show, if you're new, please subscribe wherever you're listening. You can find us on TikTok, chummy.thumbs, Instagram, Chummy Thumbs, Twitter, Chummy Thumbs, YouTube, Chummy Thumbs. Come hang out with us. We post some of the highlights of the show. We like to interact with y'all. And sometimes we post some other fun stuff. So find us there in between episodes. We can hang out. And until next week,
you know the drill.
Thumbin.
Thumbin.